Well, good morning, everyone. Let's get underway. What do you say? It's a bit of a crisp morning down here on the jetty. I want to say welcome to all of you. Welcome you to the home of Canada's East Coast Defence Headquarters, which includes the Royal Canadian Navy, the 5th Division of the Canadian Army, and the Royal Canadian Air Force. My name is Andy Fillmore. I have the great privilege of being the Member of Parliament for Halifax and the Parliamentary Secretary to Canada's Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. I'm just going to check in and ask if you can hear me okay. All right, fantastic. On the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, where we're all treaty people. I want to quickly acknowledge a few folks that are with us today. Of course, Anita Anand, Canada's Minister of National Defence. Welcome, Anita. Sean Day, the MP for West Nova and Minister of Immigration. Darren Fisher, MP for Dartmouth Cole Harbour and Parlsac for Seniors. Cody Blois, MP for Kings Hants and Chair of Government's Atlantic Caucus. Lena Metledge-Diab, MP for Halifax West and Chair of our Nova Scotia Caucus. I hear some wonderful applause here. And we have a surprise visitor, Yvonne Baker, the MP for Etobicoke Centre. Welcome, Yvonne, to Halifax. Thank you, everyone. I beg your pardon, I also want to draw your attention to Mayor Mike Savage, Your Worship. It's great to have you here, an unrelenting champion for our city. Scott Bryson is also here, our past federal cabinet minister and previous member of parliament for Kings Hants. Thank you so much for joining us as well. General Eyre is here, our Chief of Defense Staff. Admiral Santarpia, thank you very much for hosting us today. It's a long list. Thank you all so much for being here. It's wonderful to be with you. Now, as if you could miss her, I'd like to draw your attention to HMCS Harry DeWolf behind me, the lead ship of its class. Margaret Brooks is behind me. Harry DeWolf is nearby. I've got a real cheering crowd back here correcting my notes in real time. It's fantastic. I could use this every time I speak. Fantastic. The lead ship of its class of the Arctic Offshore Patrol ships, a stunning vessel built right here in Halifax by Halifax shipbuilders just up the harbor at Irving Shipbuilding. Hear, hear. And it's fitting that such a fine example of Halifax's ingenuity and a true feat of collaboration is the backdrop for this morning's very special announcement. I'll leave the details of that announcement to our next speaker, who I'll be introducing momentarily, but without giving too much away, I do want to share a bit about why today is such an important day for Halifax and the promise that it holds for our city and for the broader Atlantic region. Now, many of you know that Halifax is home to 7 higher education institutions, and there are nearly 20 across the Atlantic region. In Nova Scotia alone, we have more graduates per capita in engineering, applied science, mathematics, and physical science than anywhere else in Canada. The result is a talent pipeline that directs our grads toward over 2,300 companies in the Halifax tech sector, many of these connected to the innovation happening at places like Cove, and a big shout out to Melanie Nadeau here for her partnership and hard work leading up to today. As I was saying, innovation happening at places like Cove, Volta, the Pier, Deep Sense, the Institute for Big Data Analytics, and so many other organizations that support research, entrepreneurship, and commercialization. Additionally, in the Atlantic region, Energia Ventures, Planet Hatch, Genesis Emergence, Launchpad PEI are all working to grow startups and are on the cutting edge of emerging and disruptive technologies. And universities like the University of PEI, the University of New Brunswick, Memorial University of Newfoundland are leading 21st century research and keeping the talent pipeline flowing. It's no surprise then that we're getting global recognition for the ecosystem that we're building here in Atlantic Canada. Recently, the startup Genome Blue Economy report ranked Atlantic Canada as the 10th best ecosystem in the world for oceans startups. And in 2021, Halifax was number 7 in the list of 25 up-and-coming North American markets for tech hubs. Halifax saw 24% tech job growth over the past 5 years for a total tech labor force of 14,700 workers, bigger even than in Buffalo, New York. So what happens when you take all of that talent and all of that energy, all that's happening in a military city that's home to the East Coast Navy, the 5th Division, and the Air Force, as I've mentioned, and connect it to institutions engaged in defense, sovereignty, global security, and economic growth? Well, that's what our next speaker is going to tell us about. Without putting the cart before the horse, I do want to recognize the incredible team of supporters who have come together as part of Team Atlantic, They come together from the private sector, the defense sector, academia, the provincial government, civil society, far too many to name, but each one made a difference, putting our region on the radar and showing that we have the resources, the talent, and the drive to do big things together. Many are here with us today and will join us at the reception following the announcement, so please be sure to say hello to them. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce a friend, a passionate advocate for this region, someone with proud roots in Kentville, Nova Scotia, Canada's Minister of Defense, the Honourable Anita Anand, to make today's announcement. Anita.
Oh my God, help me. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction, Andy. Minister Fraser, General Air, Admiral Bauer, parliamentary colleagues, Mayor Savage, membres des Forces Armées Canadiennes, chers amis. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour. It is absolutely wonderful to be here with you on the jetty, back in my home province where I was born and raised. I acknowledge that we are gathering on the Mi'kmaq territory. It's ancestral, it's unceded. This is the territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today and every day, we reaffirm our commitment to meaningful reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. Listen, we are living in a world of increasing technological disruption. Strategic competitors are trying to challenge the rules-based international order, which has kept Canada safe since the end of the Second World War. And we can see this, of course, through Putin's war on Ukraine, an unjustifiable and illegal invasion of sovereign territory. Nous pouvons voir cela, bien sûr, à travers la guerre de Poutine en Ukraine et le comportement d'autres pays dans le monde. At times like this, Canada's long-standing alliance with our 30 NATO allies is more important than ever. As NATO allies, we must stand ready to meet any test in any domain. Et donc, il est impératif de faire progresser notre excellence technologique et de rester en avance sur nos concurrents. And in this context, I am absolutely honored to be back home in Nova Scotia and to welcome you to CFB Halifax for this important and timely announcement. And today I am pleased to announce that Canada has proposed the Halifax Regional Municipality to host the North American Regional Office of NATO's Defense Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic, known as DIANA. This groundbreaking initiative will bring together NATO personnel, together with Canadian industry, innovators, academics, and researchers to solve critical technological challenges facing our transatlantic security. DIANA will bring together the best and the brightest minds from our public and private sectors and act as a catalyst for homegrown research and innovation. And it will enable close collaboration with NATO's best as we sharpen our technological edge through development in artificial intelligence, big data processing, quantum-enabled technologies, and biotechnology. Et aussi, DIANA va augmenter la coopération entre les entreprises et le gouvernement afin de renforcer notre sécurité économique. Put simply, DIANA will harness the depth of Canadian expertise and help Canada and our allies. And together with our NATO allies, we're going to enhance the strength and resilience of key industrial capabilities, cyber and telecom networks, supply chains, and critical infrastructure. Aujourd'hui, je suis ravie d'annoncer que le Canada a proposé une municipalité régionale de Halifax pour accueillir le bureau régional pour l'Amérique du Nord de l'accélérateur Innovation de défense pour l'Atlantique du Nord de l'OTAN. And that is why we are here today. When we first announced our intent to host Diana, we recognized that Diana will bring benefit to Canada's shores. And the announcement today is great news for the people of Atlantic Canada, for our country, and for our international allies. What are we going to do? We're going to harness the expertise in this area. We're going to work hard with industry partners and NATO allies. We are going to make sure that this innovation will endure for our allies to be fully operational by 2025. Now, you may be saying to yourself, what is so special about Halifax? And let me tell you, as someone born and bred here, what is so special and important about this area. Halifax is home to over 300 startups in science and technology. It is home to 7 universities, 3 community college campuses, multiple private career colleges within the regional municipality. The city is also home to Canada's Atlantic Naval Fleet, as you can see right here on the jetty today. And it is Canada's largest military base in terms of personnel. And so what we have, my friends, today is a marriage between a thriving innovation sector and a strong armed forces presence, which makes Halifax the ideal location for Diana. And let us not forget that Defence Research and Development Canada also has research facilities here. So, my friends, to conclude, as someone who has a background in academia from right here in Nova Scotia, I especially appreciate the importance of this initiative to the regional economy and to our country. And to our Canadian researchers, to our scholars, to our tech innovators here in Nova Scotia and right across our country, Diana is an opportunity to leverage our best in class, our homegrown expertise, and our talent to solve critical defense and security challenges and to grow our research and innovation sector. Ça, c'est une opportunité, bien sûr. Et cette opportunité n'est pas seulement avant-gardiste, mais elle est aussi d'une importance cruciale pour notre sécurité nationale. And in the coming months, I look forward to working with our partners to move forward this exciting initiative. And I thank our partners right here in the city and across this country. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Thank you so much, Minister Anand, for that fantastic announcement and for being such a strong voice for our region. And over the last couple of months, many months really, you have always made time to listen to our pitch and to take serious consideration of what we were putting forward. So thank you. We're all glad to know that you're in our corner when it comes to Diana, and of course also in your role as Minister of National Defense. So thank you so very, very much. I'd like now to invite our next speaker to share remarks. Won't you please, and it's another special visitor to Halifax, so won't you please welcome Admiral Rob Bauer, Chair of the NATO Military Committee. Admiral Bauer, please.
Minister Anand, Minister Fraser, members of Parliament, General Eyre, ladies and gentlemen. This is my third day in Canada, and I've been reminded several times that until the moment that I arrived, it was warm weather. So, bonjour à toutes et bonjour et à tous. I would like to thank our esteemed ally Canada for its offer to host the North American Regional Office of NATO's Defense Innovation Accelerator here in Halifax. As Minister Anand has rightly said, we are facing an increasingly complex and an unpredictable security environment. The world is changing, and that means that NATO must do what it does best: unite and adapt. Unite not only countries, but also business with academia, private with public, old with new, experience with innovation, and adapt to the rapid changes in technology. The strategic importance of technology is growing. It will swing the balance in ensuring a peaceful future. One of the reasons that the Ukrainian armed forces have been successful in pushing back the Russian invasion is their clever use of new technologies. And we have all witnessed the critical role of technology companies supporting Ukraine. Help has come both from Ukraine's own well-developed tech sector, as well as from big and small international players. A few months ago, when we thought of a company like Microsoft or Starlink, we thought of laptops or satellites. Now we think of them like companies that help win the war. Therefore, NATO is redoubling its efforts to stay at the forefront of technology. To be successful, we need to join forces with the technology experts and thought leaders across the alliance, shaping the future of innovation. And this is why NATO launched two innovation initiatives this year, which are changing NATO's approach to innovation. The Defense Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic, or DIANA, will help solve some of our critical defense and security problems. In tandem with DIANA, we are also launching the NATO Innovation Fund, a multinational venture capital fund backed by 22 allies and 1 billion euros. Because we recognize the difficulties in driving commercialization for deep tech, and because there is not enough risk capital available across the alliance. As part of DIANA, allies are providing a vast network of technology test centers and accelerator sites across the alliance. Allies have already offered over 60 test centers. We've also made an initial selection of 9 accelerator sites. However, there are going to be many more, including from Canada and the United States. DIANA will bring our military operators together with the best and brightest startups, scientific researchers, and tech companies to develop impactful solutions for the alliance. This is not about building new missiles or tanks. This is about capturing the power of innovative ecosystems across the alliance, primarily gearing towards deep tech startups. It is about innovating differently, responsibly, and cooperatively. Joining the DIANA Accelerator program, the innovators will have the chance to consult their ideas with the security and defense experts from 30, soon to be 32 countries. The first challenge call of DIANA will be launched in April 2023, and we look forward to working with Canada on engaging the vibrant innovation ecosystems on this side of the Atlantic. These two new NATO initiatives, DIANA and the Innovation Fund, will help to bring together government, industry, innovators and academia across the alliance to jointly foster the development of breakthrough dual-use solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, for over 7 decades, NATO has demonstrated a unique ability to unite and to adapt. As a founding member, Canada has been there from the start, and it will help take us into the future. In this new era of collective defense, we need business, academia, and the military to work side by side to create innovations that make us all safer. Remember, we have something our competitors don't: free and open societies where talent, initiative, and creativity can thrive. Minister Anand, dear Anita, thank you for your leadership and for Canada's generous offer. We look forward to seeing what the future will bring. Merci, thank you.
Thank you very much, Admiral Bauer, for your words and for your service to NATO, and we hope to see a lot more of you in Halifax in the years ahead. Next, I'd like to invite my colleague in the House of Commons and an unrelenting champion for Nova Scotia at the Cabinet table. Please welcome my friend Sean Fraser, the MP for Central Nova and Canada's Minister of Immigration. Sean.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I know you're all enjoying sitting out here in the sun, so I'll try to keep it to less than 20 minutes today. Look, Anita, colleagues, thank you for being here. What a vote of confidence in Nova Scotia. This is an extraordinary development for this city, but for our region as well. It brings me an enormous sense of pride when I see that the federal government will work with international organizations of such global importance to recognize the capacity that we have here in Nova Scotia to advance solutions to global problems. And look, when I first heard of this news, I was excited for a number of reasons. We always want to pursue opportunities in Nova Scotia to promote economic development. But more importantly, in this instance, and the uncertain world that we're living in, I think we've recognized that this is the right part of the world to help advance solutions to some of these global problems. I think Andy said it very well when he articulated the importance of our military history here, with the infantry, the Air Force, and the Navy all represented as the Atlantic headquarters for the Canadian Armed Forces. Look around you. Look at what's been accomplished over the past number of years with the shipbuilding initiative that's gotten off the ground, that's going to help defend Canada's interests at home and abroad for generations to come. But we don't just have a proud military history, we have a burgeoning tech sector. And I want to thank His Worship, Mayor Mike Savage, for his leadership to help promote the sector in recent years. We've seen innovation startups like Volta Labs get off the ground. We have Cove down on the waterfront. Melanie, congratulations on what you've helped build there. To see the continued investment in innovation, and I should mention the CEO of the Halifax International Airport Authority, Joyce Carter, is with us. What's going on at the Aerotech Business Park in aviation innovation is absolutely extraordinary. There's no question that this is going to be good for our region, but I think our region is going to be good for the world. You know, I want to give a particular thank you to Anita. Welcome home. This is somebody who may represent a constituency in a different part of Canada, but she hasn't forgotten where she's come from. To have had the opportunity to have conversations about the importance of the opportunity Diana represents for her home province, and to know that we had an open door was enough to get this thing off the ground. But I also want to offer an extraordinary congratulations to Andy Fillmore. Folks, members of Parliament can make a real difference. This would not have been on the radar, I don't think, the opportunity that HRM represents without Andy's advocacy for his region. I'm so proud to work alongside him and my other colleagues from Nova Scotia to have communicated the extent of this extraordinary opportunity, and it's an absolute privilege to work alongside him and our caucus colleagues in Nova Scotia. I want to conclude by saying that we live in uncertain times, perhaps more uncertain than at any other point in my lifetime. We look at what's happened in the past couple of years alone, between the fall of Kabul, where Canada is now welcoming some of the Afghan refugees who worked alongside the Canadian Armed Forces, along with many of our other NATO allies who had a presence in Afghanistan in recent history. And of course, the unjust war of aggression launched by Vladimir Putin in Ukraine. Folks, I've never seen the West come together in such uniformity as I have in response to this latest invasion by Putin in Ukraine. I should note as well, Yvonne Baker, who's joined us here today, has been a relentless advocate for Canada's role to support Ukraine in its time of need. You know, our view is that this is not a European problem. When the values that underpin the international rules-based legal order are under threat, the values that have helped deliver peace and prosperity to Canada over the past 80 years, we need to put our money where our mouth is. When the principles of territorial integrity, sovereignty of nations, and the right of peoples to self-determination are under threat, Canada needs to respond. I've been so proud of the way that our Minister of National Defence has comported herself on the global stage, and so proud of the way that Canadians have opened their arms and opened their homes to those in search of safe haven. We're going to continue to be there to support people in their time of need, to work alongside our NATO allies, and to host Diana, the Defense Innovation Accelerator for North America, to help contribute solutions that will advance global peace and security with solutions that are born and bred right here in Nova Scotia. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. It's a good day for Halifax, and it's a better day for the mission to support global peace and security. Thank you.
Well, I'm just going to bring this down a few feet. There we go. Thanks so much for that, Sean. Really appreciate it. You know, today's announcement really shows what's possible for our Atlantic region when we work together. And putting forward Halifax as the location for Diana is a testament to the talent that resides in this region, and demonstrates what happens when we put our ability to work together to work, and that really sets us apart. I want to point out that's why I'm wearing this pin today, and our naval friends might recognize it as BZ, Bravo Zulu. It means congratulations or job well done, and I want to say job well done to everybody involved in getting us here today. And I look forward to all that we'll do to keep building up Atlantic Canada. And with that, we want to get you off these cold steel chairs and turn to some media questions, which will be moderated by our friend here at the other podium. Thank you so much for your time and your attention today, and all the work that went behind it. Thank you.
Thank you, merci. With that, we will take questions from registered media here. On va demander une question de suivi aujourd'hui. Please state your name and outlet and whom your question is for. Thank you.
Bonjour, Paul Léger de Radio-Canada. Ma question est pour la ministre Anand. Ici. Justin Trudeau vient d'annoncer qu'il aimerait renforcer la présence militaire canadienne en Asie. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire exactement? Et est-ce que c'est un moment propice compte tenu des tensions qui existent entre la Chine et le Canada?
Merci pour cette question très importante. Bien sûr, oui, le Premier ministre de notre pays a dit que nous devons renforcer notre présence là, dans l'Indo-Pacifique, et ça c'est vrai, et ça c'est la raison que ma collègue, la ministre va présenter la stratégie Indo-Pacifique dans les semaines prochaines. Et bien sûr, nous allons renforcer notre présence là. Pourquoi? Pour la stabilité et la paix de cette région. Ça, c'est important. Nous étions là maintenant et nous allons être là dans l'avenir. Par exemple, avec l'opération Projection et aussi l'opération Neon, ce sont des opérations très importantes pour nous, mais nous devons être là avec plus d'appui pour cette région, avec nos alliés, avec nos partenaires. Donc, nous allons avoir plus d'informations dans les semaines prochaines avec notre
Est-ce que vous croyez que le moment
plus fort? Oui, oui, absolument. C'est très important et ça, c'est le moment. Nous savons qu'il y a beaucoup de place dans notre monde où nous devons être là avec plus de présence et ça, c'est le moment, pas seulement pour l'Indo-Pacifique, mais aussi d'être là pour nos alliés et nos partenaires dans d'autres places du monde, comme l'Europe, comme l'Ukraine. Nous étions et continuons d'être là pour nos alliés et partenaires. Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, Minister. Mike Sutton from the Canadian Front. The Prime Minister this morning is committed to increasing Canada's military presence in the Indo-Pacific region. I think we have 2 frigates started towards that region. However, it doesn't currently have any warships in Europe, in NATO. How will you make sure Canada's focus on Asia does not negatively affect the role and commitment to NATO and to European security?
Thanks for the question. What we have demonstrated and will continue to demonstrate is that we can walk and chew gum at the same time, that we can focus on the unjust and illegal invasion of Ukraine by Vladimir Putin by putting more than $1 billion on the table, as well as putting forward an Indo-Pacific strategy, which will be forthcoming in the following weeks. And as you mentioned, we have been present in the Indo-Pacific with 2 frigates, and they have been extremely important in Operation Projection, in the sail through of the Taiwanese Strait, in as well as in Operation Neon in monitoring the UN sanctions vis-a-vis North Korea. So we will continue to be in key areas of the world, as we must be, in support of global peace and security. And you will see that in the Indo-Pacific strategy, and we will continue to be supporting the NATO allies and the sovereignty and stability of Ukraine. Thank you.
The fact we don't have any ships though in Europe is being seen by some quarters as further evidence military is being stretched to extend personnel and equipment. What will the government do to address this, particularly as it faces dual threats? Would meeting NATO's 2% spending target go a long way towards addressing these issues?
Okay. Well, as I said, and I'll just further explicate, that you have to look across the board at our contribution at the current time, not only in terms of military aid and equipment to Ukraine, but also our contribution, including boots on the ground, in terms of our NATO commitment. We are the 6th largest defense budget of all NATO countries. Furthermore, we are one of 4 countries leading the Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Group in Latvia. The others, the UK, Germany, and the US, are also defending NATO's eastern seaboard. So we have a very strong presence in NATO and vis-a-vis Ukraine, and we will continue to ensure that we are there in support of European and global peace and security. But let me just reiterate that it isn't only the Minister of National Defense standing here at the podium explicating Canada's contribution to NATO and to Ukraine and in support of the rules-based international order. The Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, as well as Ukraine's Minister of National Defense, Alexei Reznikov, have repeatedly thanked Canada for our contribution militarily, especially at this time in support of Ukraine. Canada and the Canadian Armed Forces have trained over 34,000 Ukrainian soldiers. We are training Ukrainian soldiers in England and Ukrainian engineers in Poland. Our commitment goes beyond military aid and equipment, extends to training, extends to transporting aid, and we will continue to be there in the short and the long term in support of Ukraine and the rules-based international order.
Thank you. Next question. Prochaine question.
Good morning, Minister.
look like in practical terms? Increases to the Canada-Pacific Fleet, troop station in Japan or Korea? Anything else you want to touch on there again?
So the Indo-Pacific strategy will be released in the coming weeks, and I will not circumvent that process of releasing a full-fledged Indo-Pacific strategy here today. I will reiterate that yes, we will be increasing our military presence in the Indo-Pacific. I will reiterate that we are there strongly now. With 2 frigates operating, with Operation Projection. And part of Operation Projection, for example, is working with our allies in key missions, including the sail through of the Taiwan Strait, which we were with the United States on for the 2nd straight year. Part of our presence in the Indo-Pacific is ensuring that we are monitoring UN sanctions under Operation Neon against North Korea. We will continue to be there in that respect as well. And stepping back, what is our overall purpose in that region? It is one of responsible engagement, one of promoting peace and stability in that region with our allies and in a transparent way. That's what I can say about our upcoming Indo-Pacific strategy, and that's what I can say about a commitment to the Indo-Pacific.
And despite the promise of these new investments, Canada is still well short of its NATO spending commitment. The parliamentary budget officer says it would take at least $75 billion over the next 5 years to increase the military budget to 2% of GDP. Will you commit to that spending?
I wanted to make sure that we recognize that Canada's contribution to NATO is on an upward trajectory, as you have seen here today by Halifax being the host of Diana, the Defense and Innovation Accelerator project of NATO. I want to reiterate that we are the 6th largest defense budget of NATO countries. I want to reiterate that we are one of 4 countries defending NATO's eastern seaboard in Latvia by going into our 6th year leading the Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Group. We have 3,400 troops at the ready to be deployed if called upon by NATO. Canada was one of the founding members of NATO. That is a summary of our commitment, and we will continue to be there in the short and the long term, not only for Ukraine, but for NATO and the rules-based international order.
Thanks. We'll take one last question and one last follow-up.
Oui, bonjour, Paul Léger, Radio-Canada, encore une fois. Si on vise à accroître notre présence militaire en Asie, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire pour les ressources et les efforts communs envers l'OTAN et notre présence en Europe?
Merci pour la question. Ce n'est pas la même chose, bien sûr, mais comme j'ai dit en anglais, nous devons walk and chew gum at the same time. Nous devons être là pour nos alliés en Europe avec l'OTAN et aussi dans l'Indo-Pacifique. Et ça veut dire les ressources pour les 2 choses au même temps. Et en même temps de ça, nous devons continuer de renforcer nos forces armées canadiennes ici au Canada avec le recrutement, la rétention et la reconstitution. Donc, nous avons beaucoup de choses à faire en même temps, mais nous pouvons le faire. Pourquoi? Parce que nous avons la fortitude et aussi l'habilité, la capacité de faire ça. Ça, c'est la raison que nous allons être là dans l'Indo-Pacifique avec notre stratégie dans les semaines prochaines. Merci.
Hi, Minister Callum Smith with Global News. I'm just wondering, we heard a lot about technology and innovation today. Can you just be clear what exactly will be produced in this office, what will be done, the work will be done?
Well, I thought Admiral Bauer did an excellent job of explaining this very point, that the tech sector in the evolution of Diana is going to involve multiple businesses coming together with NATO experts, with experts from the university sector, as well as government, to ensure that we have the latest technologies on the front lines. This is going to take time to build up, but with 300 businesses in Halifax, as well as 7 universities and multiple colleges, we are very, very well placed to ensure the synergy of expertise occurs to produce and lead technological innovation. And we will continue to work together to do that. This is not about producing weapons, as Admiral Bauer said. This is about ensuring that we have the latest technology in the production of the mechanics and equipment that will be used on the front lines. So IT, absolutely key. The cyber capabilities, absolutely important. All of these items are going to come together in this innovation hub. And I will reiterate that these innovation hubs are going to not only be in North America, but also in England and Estonia, so that it's really going to be a global presence, and NATO's ability to innovate is going to increase our military presence and efficacy. As you may know, we have a recruitment strategy, a retention strategy, and a reconstitution strategy that is driving the push to increase enrollment in the Canadian Armed Forces. There are a number of tangible items that we are undertaking at the current time. For example, maximizing the personnel staffing recruitment centers across the country. For example, ensuring that we are implementing the culture change initiatives of Madame Arbour to ensure that our Canadian Armed Forces are a place where everyone who puts on a uniform can feel safe, protected, and respected every single day that they serve this country. So we are very much focused on recruitment and retention, and we will continue to ensure that the Canadian Armed Forces has the resources that they need to continue to serve this country right here at home in forest fires and floods, as well as internationally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Merci beaucoup. Have a great day.